Remember this, for every one lie you tell, you have to invent 2 or 3 to protect yourself from the first one. Secondly, you've got to have a great memory, because you've got to remember, what have I said previously that could contradict me now? Neurologically, truthful people don't go through that rationalisation process. If I asked people in this audience what you did this morning, you would be relying on memory for recall. So you would find your memories, your feelings, emotions, descriptions would be much more comprehensive. Whereas if you're fabricating or embellishing, you can't rely on that. Research shows us under MRI scanning, when we fabricate, embellish and make things up, we use 3 parts of our brain. Whereas if you're recalling information, we only require 1 part of that brain. People will only tell you what they want you to know. It's up to a good interviewer to ask good, direct, probing questions. I consult my services to the media and different homicide squads around the country. And what they'll do is they'll get me to analyse content and structure during an interview. And remember this, I may be able to think of a lie, but can I effectively communicate it? And often, 9 times out of 10, we listen to the content of what people say. We listen to what they say and we try to find fault with that content. The problem is this, what if that person is so well rehearsed? What if that person is so well practiced at delivering that deception? And we put all our eggs in the one basket. We don't look for paralinguistic styles, micro-expressions, distress signals, hand-to-face, contrary body language behaviours. Then we're going to miss valuable data and information. People will only tell you what they want you to know. They'll edit the information they give you. So 9 times out of 10, we listen to what they say. Now, if I was to ask Michael Jackson if he'd ever had facial surgery, he'll look at me straight in the eye and say no. People won't lie to you unless they've got no other option. So what they'll do is they'll be evasive, omissive and dismissive, but they'll beat around the bush. And only when they're in that last phase that they've got no other opportunity, then they'll lie to you. Research shows us it is very difficult for the average person to lie, and lie convincingly. There will always be some telltale signs of what I call leakage or seepage. The problem is we don't look for it. And when we want somebody to believe us, we want to buy credibility and believability. So we've got to think, what have I said previously? I don't want to contradict myself now. I want to sound believable and so on. And this is what they found under MRI scanning. Our brain lights up like a Christmas tree. Research in the US found that when we lie, we secrete chemicals from the tip of our nose, which makes our nose what? Itchy. So often, if you've got an itchy nose, what do? You scratch it, you give a decent scratch, not just a cursory touch. And I was at a friend's place a couple of years ago, and we heard a window break. And Ian goes up to his son and says, "Did you break that window?" And his son goes, "No," puts his hand over his mouth. Now, what you find in a social context, as we get older, if somebody asks you your opinion, you can't just say, "Well, no, why has he got his hand in front of his mouth?" So what you'll find at the last moment, there'll be a deviation in an effort to reduce the tension and anxiety associated with lying, and you'll see a last-minute change, like eye rubbing, nose tugging, and ear pulling. Hand-to-face gestures are very good and indicative of deception. The content and structure and the delivery is really important. So I teach people to look for 4 areas. Verbal, remember this, I can control what comes out of my mouth. Non-verbal, that's body language. Look for conflict or contradiction between what a person is doing and what their body language is telling us. Third is paralinguistic content. What does that mean? It relates to how the message is delivered. Could be things like tone, pitch, voice modulation, rate, response latency, ums and ahs. I often find when I interview people and people are fabricating or embellishing, we don't like pregnant pauses in conversation. So what you'll find is more fillers, unnecessary, superfluous fillers such as ums and ahs. And the research points that out.
So we've talked about some of the basic displays of comfort. We've talked about head tilt and smiling and so forth. These are common displays of comfort. So let me now introduce you to some discomfort displays and have you begin to think about the most common ones that you see every day. Now, most of the discomfort that we show is actually in our face. We orient towards the face to see what's there, to see if there's comfort or discomfort. Do we see a smile? No smile. Do we see head tilt? No head tilt. But one of the easiest ways to see discomfort is, for instance, in the forehead. Do we see any furrowing of the forehead? Do we see the knitting of the eyebrows and so forth? These signs of discomfort that we normally associate with day-to-day life are real-time indicators of what's going on in the brain. Now, the brain could get by just fine without transmitting these messages. So we look for signs of discomfort first and foremost on the face. We'll see it in the forehead. We'll see it, people touching their foreheads, rubbing their forehead. You've all seen somebody going like this. Yes, there is an issue. Something is bothering them. Maybe they have a headache, maybe they're stressed, whatever, but it's indicated in the face. The next area that we often see it is in the eyes. When things are good, our pupils, the orbits of our eyes dilate. When things are bad, they constrict.
Hi, my name is Joe Navarro, and today we're talking about the neck. And oftentimes we forget that we touch our necks principally